On July 22, 2025, the world lost one of rock's most iconic and controversial figures. Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, legendary frontman of Black Sabbath and pioneer of heavy metal, passed away at the age of 76. In this video, we take a look at the life, death, and lasting legacy of a man who redefined what it meant to be a rock star. From his rise to fame to the global reactions to his passing, here's everything you need to know. Ozzy Osbourne was more than just a rock singer, he was a cultural icon. Born John Michael Osbourne in Birmingham, England in 1948, he rose to fame as the lead vocalist of Black Sabbath, a band often credited with inventing heavy metal. With dark lyrics, heavy riffs, and a haunting voice, Ozzy helped shape a new genre of music in the 1970s. After parting ways with Black Sabbath, he launched a successful solo career with hits like Crazy Train, Mr. Crowley, and Dreamer. Over the decades, he became known not only for his music, but also for his outrageous behavior. From biting the head off a bat on stage to starring in the hit reality show The Osbournes. Through highs and lows, scandals and comebacks, Ozzy remained a symbol of rebellion, creativity, and authenticity in the world of rock. The news of Ozzy Osbourne's death broke on July 22, 2025, sending shockwaves through the global music community and beyond. At the age of 76, the legendary singer passed away, leaving behind a legacy that forever changed the world of rock and heavy metal. Though the exact cause of death has not been publicly confirmed, Ozzy had been battling a series of serious health issues for several years. In 2020, he revealed that he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a progressive neurological disorder. He also endured multiple surgeries and spinal issues following a fall in 2019, which forced him to cancel many live performances. In later interviews, Ozzy often spoke candidly about his health struggles, maintaining both humor and resilience despite the challenges. Initial reports of his death surfaced on July 22, first confirmed by his wife and longtime manager Sharon Osbourne. She issued a brief but emotional statement. Ozzy passed peacefully, surrounded by family. He was more than a legend, he was our heart. We ask for privacy as we process this tremendous loss. Shortly after, media outlets including The Guardian, The New York Times, USA Today, and Yahoo Entertainment confirmed the news. Social media was flooded with tributes, memories, and disbelief, with many fans initially questioning the reports due to past false rumors about Ozzy's health. However, this time, it was tragically real. Ozzy's passing marks the end of an era. For over 5 decades, he stood as a defiant, electrifying force in music. A man who embraced the darker edges of art and identity, and who became a voice for generations of outcasts, rebels, and dreamers. As tributes poured in from fellow musicians, celebrities, and fans worldwide, one thing became clear. The loss of Ozzy Osbourne was not just the loss of a musician, it was the loss of a cultural institution. The death of Ozzy Osbourne sparked an overwhelming wave of grief, remembrance, and tribute from every corner of the world. Fans, fellow musicians, and public figures came together to honor a man whose music, spirit, and influence transcended generations and genres. Within hours of the announcement, social media platforms were flooded with emotional posts. Hashtags like #Ozzy, #Prince of Darkness, and Thank You Ozzy quickly began trending globally. Thousands shared personal stories of how Ozzy's music helped them through difficult times, inspired their creative paths, or introduced them to the world of heavy metal. Memes, video clips, and concert footage circulated alongside heartfelt tributes, creating a digital tapestry of global mourning. Black Sabbath's original bassist, Geezer Butler, posted a particularly touching tribute on Instagram and X, saying, "The world has lost a true original. I've lost a brother. Ozzy was one of a kind, a visionary, a madman, and a legend. There will never be another like him." Guitarist Tony Iommi, Ozzy's longtime collaborator and friend, expressed his heartbreak in a statement to the press. "We created something together that changed the course of music. Through all our ups and downs, Ozzy remained the heart of Sabbath and a brother to me. I will miss him more than words can say." Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy's wife of over 40 years, posted a black and white photo of them together with the caption, "My heart is broken. He was the love of my life. the father of our children, and the soul of our family. Thank you all for loving him as much as we did. Major music festivals around the world held moments of silence in his honor, while some artists chose to dedicate performances to his memory. Candlelight vigils appeared outside significant locations, including his childhood home in Birmingham, venues where Black Sabbath first played, and even outside the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Public figures far outside the world of rock paid tribute too. British Prime Minister and other politicians issued statements acknowledging Ozzy's cultural impact. Music legends like Metallica, Iron Maiden, and even pop artists such as Billie Eilish and Post Malone, who had recently collaborated with Ozzy, spoke out on how deeply he influenced them. Television networks and streaming platforms began airing retrospectives and documentaries celebrating his wild career, from his rise in Black Sabbath to his solo work and his surprising reality TV success with the Osbournes. Magazine covers, special radio broadcasts, and tribute playlists followed, showing just how far-reaching his legacy had become. Even in death, Ozzy Osbourne united people, metalheads, music lovers, and even casual listeners in collective gratitude. The world wasn't just mourning the loss of a rock icon, it was saying goodbye to a man who challenged norms, embraced chaos, and gave millions the courage to be unapologetically themselves. Ozzy Osbourne's legacy is immense, enduring, and impossible to fully measure. More than a singer or showman, he was a cultural phenomenon, a man who defied expectations and carved his name into the very fabric of modern music. His influence ripples across generations, genres, and borders, leaving behind a body of work and a mythos that few artists could ever hope to achieve. At the heart of Ozzy's legacy is his role as the founding frontman of Black Sabbath, the band widely credited with inventing heavy metal. In the late 1960s and early 70s, while much of the world was still caught up in the peace and love wave of the hippie era, Black Sabbath emerged from the industrial gloom of Birmingham with a sound that was darker, heavier, and more menacing than anything that had come before. With Ozzy's haunting, almost otherworldly voice leading the charge, the band introduced the world to a new kind of music, raw, powerful, and unapologetically bleak. Albums like Paranoid, Master of Reality, and Black Sabbath Vol. 4 redefined what rock could be. Tracks such as War Pigs, Iron Man, and Black Sabbath became anthems for the disillusioned and the rebellious. Ozzy's voice was both a warning and a battle cry, cutting through the noise with a chilling honesty that resonated deeply with listeners. His work with Sabbath laid the blueprint for countless subgenres: doom, sludge, stoner, and even elements of grunge and industrial music. Ozzy's voice was both a warning and a battle cry, cutting through the noise with a chilling honesty that resonated deeply with listeners. But Ozzy didn't stop with Black Sabbath. After his departure from the band in 1979, many assumed his career would fade. Instead, he launched a wildly successful solo career that would cement his status as a metal icon. His debut solo album Blizzard of Oz introduced classics like Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley, and showcased his ability to evolve while remaining true to his unique voice. With legendary guitarists like Randy Rhoads, Zakk Wylde, and Jake E. Lee by his side, Ozzy continued to push creative boundaries and deliver unforgettable performances. Beyond music, Ozzy's legacy expanded into pop culture in unexpected ways. In the early 2000s, The Osbournes, a reality TV show centered around his family life, introduced him to an entirely new audience. Fans who had never heard a Black Sabbath song suddenly knew Ozzy as the lovable, confused, and often hilarious patriarch stumbling around his mansion and swearing at malfunctioning remotes. The show broke ratings records and helped usher in a new era of reality television, proving that even in his 50s and 60s, Ozzy could still shock the world, this time with charm instead of chaos. What truly sets Ozzy apart, however, is how human he always remained. For all his fame, he was never afraid to show vulnerability. He spoke openly about his battles with addiction, depression, and illness. He never pretended to be perfect, and perhaps that's why so many people related to him. He was the Prince of Darkness, yes, but also a survivor, a husband, a father, and an artist who never gave up. Countless musicians cite Ozzy as their inspiration, not just for his sound, but for his spirit. His influence can be heard in the riffs of modern metal, seen in the theatricality of stage performances, and felt in the raw emotion of lyrics across genres. Without Ozzy, there is no metal as we know it today. Ozzy Osbourne didn't just leave behind albums, awards, and headlines. He left behind a legacy of fearlessness, a reminder that art should challenge, provoke, and liberate. He taught us that it's okay to be strange, to be loud, to be different. He gave a voice to the misfits, the dreamers, the ones who never quite fit in, and that voice will never be silenced. Whenever a global icon passes away, especially someone as mythologized as Ozzy Osbourne, confusion, misinformation, and sensationalism are almost inevitable. In the hours following the news of his death, the internet exploded with conflicting reports, speculation, and emotional reactions. While many fans were mourning, others were questioning, is this real? This skepticism didn't come from nowhere. Over the years, Ozzy had been the subject of numerous false death reports, so many in fact that it became something of a grim running joke online. At least half a dozen times, his name trended worldwide with headlines claiming he had passed, only to be debunked minutes or hours later. Some were based on misread posts, others were the result of outright hoaxes. In 2020, 2021, and again in 2023, rumors of his death surfaced, only for Ozzy or his family to publicly confirm that he was very much alive, albeit often battling serious health issues. So, when news of his actual death emerged on July 22, 2025, many people didn't believe it at first. Some thought it was another internet stunt or a misinterpreted statement. Others assumed it was one of those moments where a celebrity trend gets wildly out of control due to an unverified tweet. But unlike the false alarms of the past, this time the sources were credible, and the silence from Ozzy's inner circle was telling. Confirmation came quickly and clearly from multiple trusted outlets. The Guardian, The New York Times, USA Today, and Yahoo Entertainment all published obituaries or breaking news reports within hours of the announcement. These were not gossip blogs or tabloid headlines. They were major, verified news organizations with a long-standing commitment to fact-based journalism. The most definitive moment came when Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy's wife and manager, issued a personal statement on social media confirming his passing. This instantly quelled most of the remaining doubts, as Sharon had long been the public voice of the Osbourne family during crises. Following her statement, tributes from close friends and longtime bandmates like Tony Iommi and Geezer Butler further validated the heartbreaking truth. Some conspiracy theorists online still tried to stir doubt, pointing to the lack of initial detail around the cause of death or theorizing that Ozzy had faked his death to escape the public eye. But these claims quickly lost traction as official details and heartfelt tributes continued to pour in. This event highlighted once again the importance of media literacy and responsible information sharing. In an era dominated by viral posts, AI-generated content, and deepfakes, it's increasingly difficult for the average person to distinguish truth from fiction. The initial chaos surrounding Ozzy's passing became a case study in how quickly misinformation can spread and how crucial it is to wait for verified sources before reacting or reposting. In the end, though, the truth cut through the noise. The world had indeed lost one of its most unique and enduring musical voices. And this time, the headlines weren't false. Ozzy Osbourne was gone. But as with so many legends, his music, his image, and his influence will remain very much alive. No rumor can ever erase that. Ozzy Osbourne's life was anything but ordinary. He was a man who lived on the edge of fame, of chaos, of sound itself. From the dark streets of Birmingham to the biggest stages in the world, he transformed pain into power, fear into art, and rebellion into a voice that spoke for millions. He was the Prince of Darkness, yes, but also a symbol of resilience, a man who fell down more times than most could count and kept getting back up. His music was raw, his presence unforgettable, and his honesty, no matter how messy, was what made him so deeply human. As we say goodbye to Ozzy, we're not just mourning a musician, we're celebrating a legacy. We're remembering the scream at the start of Crazy Train, the ominous riff of Black Sabbath, the tears of Mama, I'm Coming Home, and the wild laughter from the Osbournes. We're remembering the man who taught the world that being different isn't something to hide, it's something to be proud of. Ozzy's journey may have ended, but his voice will never fade. His spirit lives on in every distorted guitar, every mosh pit, every lonely teenager who finds power in music that speaks to their soul. Thank you, Ozzy, for everything. Rest in peace and rock in power. If you've ever been moved by Ozzy's music, if he's ever made you feel seen, strong, or understood, share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's celebrate his life together. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss more stories about the legends who shaped our world. Ozzy Osbourne, 1948-2025. Gone, but never forgotten.
You're one of us. Stay curious, stay brave. Like, subscribe, and never miss a twist.